Hello students, this is a short video giving you an overview of probability. What is probability? Probability is the likelihood that something will happen. Here is how you can find probability. This is the formula for probability. It is the ratio between the number of favorable outcomes. The number of favorable outcomes, I like to call those the winners, the ones that I am looking for. The favorable outcomes divided by the total. Okay, remember it's winners over total. We're looking for the probability. Let me show you what we're talking about. The first example, we have a bag of marbles. We have 7 pink, 2 white, and 5 blue. And so we're being asked what's the probability that if a marble is selected, a marble, that's one marble selected, and usually it'll say at random or without looking. So if it's random, we are not looking in the bag and specifically picking the color we want. We're just going to stick our hand in the bag and see what we pull out. So what's the probability that the marble is pink? Well, okay, pink. There are 7 pink. So there are 7 winners for example A. Out of how many? Well, let's see. Our total is 7 plus 2 plus 5. So it's a total of 14. So 7 out of 14, that simplifies. You always simplify fractions. So our chances of pulling out a pink marble are pretty good. It's a 1 in 2 probability or a 50% chance. All right, the second one wants to pull out a white marble, so I'm going to use my gray pen. How many whites? We had 2 whites. We still have 14 marbles in the bag. We always simplify fractions, so it's a 1 in 7 chance or a probability of pulling one. It's 1 in 7 is your chances of pulling a white marble, which if we want to give the percentage answer would be 14%. Remember, you just divide. 1 divided by 7 and then move your decimal. You'll multiply times 100 to say percent. All right, what's the probability that our marble we choose is blue? There were 5 blue out of our total of 14, so 5 winners out of 14 possible. 5 over 14 doesn't simplify, so I didn't need to put my equal sign because I'm going to leave it 5 out of 14. But I can use my calculator to determine the percentage, and it gives me about 0.36, so multiply times 100 to get percent, and we get 36%. Whoops. Okay, the next example says suppose a cube is rolled, a number cube. A number cube is another name for a die, and here you can see 3 sides of my rough sketch of a die, so you know what one die looks like. There's going to be an outcome of either rolling a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. So these are our possible outcomes if it's 1 cube. Now everything changes if there's 2 cubes, so we're only talking about 1 cube right now. What is the probability with our 1 roll that we land on a 4 or a 5? Okay, we can't land on both because it's 1 cube. So a 4 or a 5. So 2 winners out of our 6 possible outcomes. And so that's a 1 in 3 or a 33% chance to roll a 4 or a 5. Our next problem says, what is the probability of rolling a multiple of 2? A multiple of 2, an even number. So let's erase these arrows. Now we're looking for even numbers. Well, 2 is an even number or a multiple of 2. 4 is even, and so is 6. So I've got 3 winners out of my 6 possible, so that's 1 in 2 or a 50% chance of rolling an even number. All right, the next type of questions we're going to encounter with probability says the probability of 2 things happening in a row. Now, if we're looking for them to happen in a row, we find this by multiplying the 2 probabilities together. So we'll do it just like we were doing, but we're going to do it twice and multiply them together. So find the probability of rolling a 2 on a dice and picking a white marble from the bag in example 1. So we'll take care of rolling a 2 on a dice. There's only 1 2 out of 6. Now let's go back up to our first problem. You have it there on your paper. They want us to go back and see what was the probability of picking a white, and that was, after we simplified, 1 in 7. And because it's an and statement, it says and. It's not an or statement. There's a big difference between and or. The likelihood of an or, this or that happening, is more likely to happen. But when we're talking about both happening with an and statement, they're going to both happen. You're going to multiply, and you'll see that the probability is not very likely. So you get a 1 over 42. And 1 over 42 is a 2% chance. So you're multiplying. When it's an and statement, you're going to multiply. All right, let's look at the next. Okay, for this one, we're going to be talking about combinations. The combinations of possibilities, and that can be found by multiplying the number of possibilities. So our first example is talking about combinations of outfits. Lauren has 2 pairs of shoes, 3 pairs of pants, 5 shirts, and 2 hats. And we want to know how many different combinations of outfits she can have. So you'll take her 2 shoes, 3 pants, 5 shirts, and 2 hats. And when you multiply those together, you get 6 times 5, which is 30, times 2, which equals 60. So there are 60 different outfits that Lauren can make. That is assuming she doesn't wear mismatched shoes or something along those lines, okay? And the same thing happens with rolling a cube. If you're going to roll a cube 3 times in a row, how many possible sequences of 3 numbers are there? So you're doing 3, so a cube has, excuse me, a cube has 6 possible outcomes. So you're going to do it every time. There's only 6 possible outcomes, 6 possible outcomes. So you're going to multiply those 6's together, because those represent your 3 different times that you roll, and you're going to have sequences of 3 numbers, and that gives you a total of 216 possible sequences. So if you can think about whether it's a sequence or a combination that you're going to be multiplying, that's going to help you if you see this type of question again. So I'd like to leave you with sort of a problem of the day. And I'm going to write the word mathematics. And I want, wait, I need an I, mathematics. There we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 letters in mathematics. So see if you can figure out the probability. If I made these into, all right, so I made them into letter tiles like in a Scrabble game. So if you had all these letters in a bag, these letter tiles, and I ask you, what is the probability of pulling a T when you reached your hand in the bag? That's my problem of the day for you. Bring your answers to me when I see you next. All right, have a great day.